Hello, good morning to all our viewers. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, and this is Inside Agwa TV, a program we use to entertain you, enlighten you, and to bring speakers from all over the world and much more. People from Agwa Aborigine talking to us every Saturday morning about issues, teaching us, and bringing information to our doorstep. And today, this Saturday morning at Inside Agua program, I have another wonderful guest in the house. I will do well to introduce him in a moment. Like we usually say, Inside Agua is a voice for all our Agua people, and we encourage you to stay tuned with us. We have our website, www.insideagua.com.ng. On Facebook, you can find us at Inside Agua TV, as well as YouTube. We are all there enlightening you. So do well to recommend us to all Agua indigenes and those from Imo State. We are a voice in Imo State, and I tell you, we'll continue to enlighten you. Having said that, this morning it's my pleasure to welcome our special guest today. He is a son of Agua. He's not that person, but the person of Dr. Barthelomew Gerald Aguugo. Dr. Barthelomew Gerald Aguugo is a Ph.D. holder. Also, he is a Nollywood director, also a film and media scholar, Emeritus chairman of Actors Guild of Nigeria, Rivers State Chapter. He is here in the studio, and ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome Dr. Barthelomew Gerald Aguugo. Doctor, you are welcome to Inside Agua Weekend Digest.
Good morning, Aguans. Good morning.
All right. Good morning, Doctor. Thank you for joining us in today's program. Like I did say before, today we'll be talking about harnessing the creative talent of Agwa Youth. That's the topic we want you to talk to us about this morning. As a professional in the film industry and looking at the opportunities that are bound in the film industry, we would like you to talk to us about the film industry, what is obtainable there, opportunities that are there that will benefit us and our young people, and every other issues around that. That is the topic we want to talk about this morning. So you are welcome to Inside Agua Weekend Digest. The floor is now yours.
All right. Good morning once again. I choose to call it that because it gives me joy when I know that I have people still reasoning on development of Agua in Agua land. But before I do that, very quickly, I'd like to appreciate the organizers of this wonderful virtual.
Wow. All right. Thank you for appreciating us, and we do hope that you come in again to continue with that speeches. Okay, Doctor, you are back. I guess that's the network glitches, but good that you are back to the studio. So we would like you to continue with what the introduction as well as the topic. You may have the floor. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So I want to appreciate Ariki Bechema Stanley. I want to appreciate Uchendo, John Mbono, and Uwebu Wisdom for putting this together. You see, Agua is, for me, strategically positioned to be a great land, if I must say. But naturally, there have been some, things I call fundamental defects in Agua land. Now, there are a whole lot to be talked about, but because of time, I want to restrict myself to forecast. That is the fundamental defect, the misplacement of meaning of success, impact of the lack of creative industry in Agua land. And finally, I also want to talk about something I titled installing a creative hub in Agua land, or how to initiate a creative hub in Agua land. First of all, the film industry is such that has a great potential to not only empower youths and elders alike. Of course, it's not only youths that we find in our movies. We also have some elderly men playing roles and all that. But it is one that exposes the people, exposes them to the world, creates economic impact on individuals and the community. Because in a singular film set, I can tell you for sure that you have nothing less than 30 persons working on set as crew alone. That's in a small budget production, not to talk about large budget productions like the Queen Amina you had about over 1,000 persons were involved in that production. Now, that is not where I'm actually going to in this morning because I feel that this time may not be ample enough to dwell on this. I want to take it from the scratch, and that is number one, the fundamental defect. Why do we not have the creative industry in Agua? Is it because we don't have creatives in Agua? Is it because we don't have talented persons in Agua? I think that's far from the reality. The reality on ground is that this fundamental defect has actually stifled creativity in Agua land. And so we cannot actually be bold to say this actor is from Agua and all that. Now, one on that is the Uzoije syndrome. The Uzoije syndrome, which is that immigrant mentality where people believe that it is only when they leave Agua land that they can become what they want, including becoming good actors and all that. Yes, there's nothing wrong if you say you're doing that for the purpose of capacity building, training yourself and all that. But we must understand that all successful creatives like musicians, painters, sculptors and all that, oftentimes actually got their inspiration from their popular cultures. You understand me? It would have been better if that film, that story you wrote about Uzuije, you know what I mean? I don't want to mention a particular tribe. I don't want to sound tribalistic here. That particular story you wrote about a tribe, Uzuije, if you had written it about Agua, you know for sure that you would have done better because you understand the intricacies of Agua land. It is your place. You don't need to ask much questions to be able to do that because you are part of the society. And so these popular cultures actually give us a whole lot of leverage in our creative ventures. But unfortunately, in Agua land, we do not believe in this. It is, for me, an ideological problem. And then we also have the other one I call lack of, okay, I'll take that last, unfriendly or unconducive operational atmosphere. This has actually stifled innovation in Agua land. It has barred the creative industry from emerging. I know some persons will say, we have talents, we have this and that and that and that, but these talents can only be seen when there's an industry. I know some also may want to argue that there's a sort of emanating creative industry in Agua land. I would say no. What we only have are creatives who are seen, we always say in our guild, the show must go on. They only see the aspect of the show. They have not yet discovered the aspect of the business. This is a business. It is not just entertainment for fun's sake. And a creative venture becomes commercially viable and beneficial to the practitioners, it is not an industry. I don't know if you get it. And that is why we call the ministry that guides us Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So this industry must be commercial. It must have some commercial value to the individuals and of Agua and Agua land in particular, in general, for us to say it's an industry. And so we have to look at those things that have made them not possible. Those things that have made the creative industry not to emerge. For me, that is the fundamental of the whole discussion. And once we can find an industry, I bet you every other thing will follow suit. And number three is the Egombute syndrome. A lot of persons have not actually seen light in the creative industry. Even though we know that our children, our brothers, our friends are creative. Some of them are funny that they can be the best comedians in Nigeria. And of course, we all can tell from social media how much comedians are making, how they're cashing, smiling to the bank, how they've been able to even affect lives in their places, their communities. Recently, Burna Boy came to River State and he paid off the entire bill of all the patients in teaching hospital. I bet you Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital is one of the, in fact, should be the biggest in the entire federation. He paid all the bills. It didn't end there. He went into communities, giving them food stocks, monies, and all that. I just want you to understand a little bit how much this industry can, how rich this industry can make an individual when we take it seriously. And finally, I want to talk about the lack of mentorship and capacity building, which is why I must keep appreciating this platform. You know, we have not actually looked at, or we have not thought about the essence of training, the essence of mentorship. For those of us, some of us have tried our best. Some of you listening to me today, you have made marks in your various endeavors within the creative industry. I think we cannot all we are saying, don't come back. How can we station? How can we train? Because again, like I said earlier, even though we have funny brothers and sisters in Agwa, we have good writers, good musicians, and all that who are just doing it locally. So long as we continue to do it locally, it cannot be beneficial to them or to Agwa land. In fact, it will get to a point they'll get tired and they'll feel like they say it's a scam, and then they venture into some illegitimate means of livelihood. So we must take it very seriously. And number two on this main lineup is the misplacement of the meaning of success. You see, for the entertainment industry, success is actually defined as when you've been able to get into the market space. Once that your fame, once that your acting talent, once that your cinematographic talent has been able to get you into the limelight, where you can feed your family and impact on others via that talent, you're not yet successful. And I want to define it very bluntly. I know it has a lot of branches if you want to go into that, but because of time. And so that is why there's what we call cupboard movies in Nollywood. Movies that have been made, seriously, but are not in the market. They're in the cupboard. Once you have produced a cupboard movie, especially if that's your first movie, no matter how much you have expended, we don't count you as a successful filmmaker. So it has to be spelled out to us so that we understand that from today, those of us who are talented in these areas must begin to make extra moves. And we too, as guardians, we too, as people who feel that we should be moral enough, we should condemn all of those immoral means of livelihood, illegitimate means of livelihood. We should also put this up as part of our agenda to preach this gospel of success in this light, so that we don't see success as being in the music industry or thinking that you're a musician or even doing something in the line of music or movie and then venturing into Yahoo to get your money, and then you come back to pose that I'm a movie star, whereas you're not seen anywhere in the screen. I'm a film director. I work behind the camera, and I can boast of how many films that I've been able to do. So that's what we can call success. And because of time, I like to go straight. Hello, am I still on?
Yes, you are
Hello.
on. You are on. You are on.
Hello, am I still on?
Yes, you are on. Go ahead. You are on. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. And the next one is the impact of creative industry in Agwaland. I think this is the most important aspect, and it is tied to the topic. The creative industry in Agwaland is going to do a whole lot, but for time, I'll just mention about three cardinal vital points. And that's number one is that it will rise the bar. The impact of lack of creative industry is going to rise the bars of the menace and social vices that are already existing in Agwaland, such as cultism, militancy, which has actually risen in bars. We know what militancy, what cultism has done to Agwa as we speak today. We cannot shy away from it. We cannot pretend not to be aware. And I want to tell you that the creative industry is one, movie industry in particular, is one of such creative ventures that can depopulate the number of militants, number of cultists, number of prostitutes that we have. Even I want to extend by saying number of the level of promiscuity in Agwaland. I must tell you that the report I get recently in from Agwa is not palatable. That even married women now venture into things that originally we are seen as unsoala, all in the name of trying to make ends meet, trying to feed families and all that. The movie industry is one that can actually um, help this situation because, like I mentioned before, in a singular set of a well-programmed, of a well-produced movie, you can have multiple talents working and going home with pay from it. That is not even it. When you do something that is legitimate and that is within your calling, that is within your destiny, and that makes you happy, you will agree with me that the last thing that will come to your mind is seeking alternative measures to putting food in your table. It makes you happy. It brings money to your pocket. It brings food to your table. The fact that it makes you happy will make you not to start thinking of alternative means, not to talk of means such as those that will ask you to kill your brothers and sisters, to maim people in Agua and all that. So the movie industry is one that has that. The movie industry also has the capacity of launching the image of Agua into the global space positively. You know what it means when movies about Agua are made, and then today we talk about Asia, we talk about their culture, we talk about India, we know their greetings, namaste, we know all of that, we know how they speak, we know even places in India that we've not gone before. It is because their movie industry has been up and doing, and they have sold that culture to us, that some of us unconsciously are even beginning to dress like Indians, behave like Indians. Now, what this has done is that it has given India a positive image. It has made us believe that India is a tourism destination. And if people come into Agua because of what we've been able to propagate via our movie industry, you know what it means. The economy is going to change. It's going to affect us economically. They are coming with their money spent in our land. People will come in there and see some of these untapped natural resources, untapped potentials, and it will become a meeting point for them to, begin to invest. We know that the vast land that we have in Agua is another economic benefit that we can get, but nobody has looked at it. Nobody has even come to see it because of militancy, because of the bad images that we have on the social media and the terrestrial media spaces. So we are saying here that the movie industry is one that has the capacity to change some of this narrative, but consciously, we must consciously give it that opportunity. And so, because of time, I am going to be conscious enough to end with this last one, and that is how to install a creative hub in Agwaland. If you observe, I'm being holistic. I'm trying to generalize it. Yes, I'm talking about the movie industry, but I think that the movie industry is broad enough to accommodate a lot. For instance, in the movie crew, you have musicians, those who do the soundtracks and the scores. We have cinematographers, people you call cameramen. We have sound engineers. People, some of them even come from churches, who are already experienced in sound in churches. Of course, they still need to be trained on the movie sound making. We have costumiers from the fashion industry. We have welfare officers from the catering industry. We have hoteliers who are location and accommodation managers. We have drivers, we have carpenters, we have painters, we have makeup artists. And so by the time you look at it, you find out that it is so broad that majority of those you want to call creatives all fitting into the movie industry. And that's why I try to call it the creative industry in general, so that we will understand that nobody is left out in this discussion. Now, how do we install this in Agwaland? First of all, we must do all within our powers to propagate the gospel of peace. Because I tell you, in a movie set, the least generator sound is an obstruction to our ambience. Not to talk about gunshots, not to talk about rowdiness, people running here and there, you know. Now, we're not even talking about the star faces, because these are some of the factors that make your movie sell. You don't bring in such celebrities, such dignitaries of actors into a place that is chaotic. They won't even accept to come, you know. So we must consciously begin to change the social narrative so that people begin to see a new picture about our community. So that when you invite an RMD into Agwaland for a movie, he will come without asking questions, because This is a social media age. People go to the internet to get information of wherever they want to go to find out if there is kidnapping there, to find out if there is other form of menace that are life threatening. So we must consciously change the social image and narrative of Agwaland. That's number one. Number two is that we must build the capacity of our leaders into understanding what it is all about in the first place. Because if you don't know what movie is, what music is, what costuming is, you won't even accept the fact that people are trooping into your town to make it an industry. You understand? So we have to do that. And number three, and finally, because of time, is that we must begin to organize small sessions where we can talk to our people. This is a great one, I say again. If we have platforms like this that can talk to our people, letting them know, we can then come down to the basics, which is teaching them the trade, the act. Of course, you agree with me that that will not be possible even in 2 days, not in 1 week. We talk about 10 minutes, you know. So if we can engage ourselves in such platforms as the Inside Agwa TV, we can have other outbreaks into WhatsApps and Facebooks and others where we have our people in large numbers. I think we can begin to give them these ideas too. Because I tell you, I know a lot of persons who have called to say, I'm a very good actor. I want to be in a movie. But the truth is that you can't be in my movie when you don't know how to act. You need to understand the trade. But such platforms can be where we give them first-hand information, we give them basics so that they can begin to go for auditions. And, there is something called apprenticeship, learning on the trade. For those who cannot afford to go to universities to study filmmaking or go to other academies, it can be an opportunity for them to learn the basics. And I tell you, with that gift, with that natural gift, which cannot be taken away from them, they will do exploit. Thank you once more, Munim, and God bless.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Barthelomew Aguugo, for taking us into that drill about the way we can harness the creative talent of Agwa Youth. We deeply appreciate that. Before I ask my question, introduce to you my other co-anchors who are also listening to you throughout the period we are talking about this subject matter. And I do hope that they also have one or two questions to ask. First, I'd like to introduce John. Comrade, welcome to Inside Agwa Digest.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
All right. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. And also, I'd like to welcome Wisdom. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, our viewers. And it's another weekend for us to enlighten you. And welcome, Doc, once again.
All right, thank you. I believe all of us listened to Doc when he was talking about the topic, harnessing the creative talent of Agwa Youth. Doctor, my own question before I call on my other co-anchors to ask theirs. My question is: you made mention about the industry. So my question is, as a clan, believing so much that we have so much of this talent that you have outlined, how can we have this industry set up? How can we get started? How can we start to harness the talent of our people, our young people who are good in acting and every other branches of film in the film industry? How can we get started in just 2 minutes?
If you listen to my last point, I actually dwelt on that extensively. But to be more specific, we need to organize workshops. If we can say that Agwa is conducive enough now to have those workshops, we can begin to do that. Otherwise, I think we can still be doing what we're doing now, organizing such virtual meetings, and then virtual classes, virtual meetings, where they will have opportunity to ask questions and all that. But then the big one is what I just said, because a lot of them may not have the means to join us virtually. So the big one is when Agwa becomes more conducive, we can launch into Agwa and begin to have, face-to-face interactions with them, give them the basics so that they can, and then give them the moral fiber to be able to step out from their comfort zone and go into the industry to do something. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Comrade Wisdom, you listen to our guests in the studio talking about how we can harness the creative talents of Agwa Youth. What is your question for him?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go on. Our guests can hear you too.
All right. Let me first of all appreciate our guest who has spoken very well. Without missing word, you did unleash the hidden truth. So what I'm saying is, Agua has not really gotten it right when it comes to entertainment. We've been backlog. We can see academically we can proudly say that we've done well in academics and other sectors of the phase of life, but the entertainment we have not gotten it well because I think my cousin is also a filmmaker. You might know him, Kadeta Nugwewu. Don't know if you've come across him. Okay, that's my cousin, my other cousin, and some other person, the likes of Zealots and many of them. These persons are people who have gone into the industry. But then the truth remains that while they are in the industry, they don't really get the green light they require. We keep being at the backlog. And then bringing it down to the other places in Agua, you get to find out that a lot of persons, maybe the upcoming ones and the rest of them, who may wish to go into skit making, who may wish to go into acting, but because of resources, lack of resources, and then previous knowledge, probably from the one they have, they are trying to manage to come to the limelight. Now, my question is very simple and easy. Like you have said, we need to start organizing these things, classes, visual meetings, and then on the other hand, some of them may not have the opportunity to join or have the resources to join the visual meeting. Don't you think that telling our story, because now the security issues in Agua has come to a barest minimum, don't you think Agua has what it takes to tell our story that can bring these persons to limelight? And then do we necessarily need to also beckon on this security issues? Can't we move in immediately to get these persons that have this mindset? Because as time goes on, people are beginning to lose appetite or maybe run away from that thing they believe that they want to do because they don't have the means to express themselves. So far from these things that you have just said, can't we immediately begin this process? Because I have a lot of them that have been on me inside Agua. We have to do this for them. We have to do this. So recently, there are about 6 of them. I may take your number later. Maybe I'll chat you up to send you some of their outings. Or maybe I just posted one this morning on my Facebook page. So can't we immediately move in to see what we can do? Because at this point in time, that Agua is getting a peaceful coexistence, is the time we need to capture this. So what is your take on immediate reform or taking action immediately?
Possible, very, very possible. And on telling our stories, let me start from there. I said in my point A that the best way to be creative is when you are dwelling on your own popular culture. I don't know if you had that. Hello.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Are we together?
Probably network. Yes, we are together.
Hello. Are we together?
We are together. We are together. We are together. Go on. We are together.
Hello.
We can hear you. We can hear you loud
We
and
are
clear.
together. I
Go
can hear
ahead,
you.
Doc.
Go on. I can hear you. Go on.
Okay. I said it earlier that the best way to be creative is, and the easiest way to be creative is by dwelling on your immediate popular culture, your own popular culture, which means telling your story, looking at your environment. That's the best way to draw inspiration. Looking at your environment, immediate environment, your social activities and all that, and then drawing story from it. So we're on the same page. Telling our story at this point in time, for me, is the first thing to even do. because we cannot look at what is happening now, not correcting them. We are going delving into something else. It may not even sound reasonable. So we can tell our stories. In fact, that is what we should do. But going into Agua now at the immediate, like you said, is going to be challenging though. But I don't think I'm amongst those crop of persons who will say, let's allow everything to lie low. It is better we do it now. If we can, right there, it is good we go and tell them. In fact, there is something I told my mom. She was in my house for a month about last month or thereabout, and I told her that I have this leading to launch an initiative, which will be the um, Agua Restoration Initiative. But the major idea is to launch a campaign against cultism. And of course, she shouted, "Hey!" I said, "No, no, no, no! You don't know. People like us, for somebody like me, I am gutsy enough to do that. I wouldn't fear anything to do that. I can look into the faces of those who are ex-cultists and tell them that cultism is bad. If I have the opportunity. But then I have a challenge. My friend Chema will tell you that challenge. I think he knows me. We grew up at some point together at early stage before I left again to Port Harcourt. I have not been a consistent Agua inhabitant. I cannot really claim to know much about Agua. So that's why I'm always thanking God that I've met people like you. We can come together and it is possible. If it's for availability, so long as it is conducive, I can look at my time. We can launch immediately into Agua. And then the first thing to do is to identify those that you said are already doing this. And then from there, we ask them questions. From the answers they give us, I can tell you exactly where we can start from. Thank you.
Exactly what I want to say. Now, these persons that I'm talking about are actually going into telling a story on eradicating cultism. Exactly. These are the things these boys are doing. I can tell you for free, I have a good relationship with them, and they have come up with one or two things. So if it's for me, I think there is a conducive environment for us to carry out this activity. There is no need wasting time, because of today we are looking at, we want to project something that will keep the youth busy in one way or the other, and then so that everybody will be busy and remove that mindset of engaging in evil things. Just last week or last 2 weeks about, we had the man for exportation of rural goods, and we are working on that. So I want to urge you, because of our time, please make out time. Let us launch this immediately so that these guys can get busy and see where it can get them as well. If they make a fortune tomorrow, they will definitely remember you. Thank you very much.
No problem. All right. Okay, if I need to respond to that, I think we're on the same page. Yes, we will. We will. I'll make our time. Maybe we can talk again after this session and see where to take it up from.
I'll call you. I'll call you.
All right. Okay.
Hello, Chima, are you there? Chima. Okay, on the other hand, also, why Chima may be absent, I want to ask also, what is the challenge? What is actually the challenge that is holding back our persons who have been into the industry from getting or maybe seeing the limelight, like every other actors,
Okay.
producers, and the rest of them?
Okay. It's a very good question. A lot of persons think that this thing is luck. The first mistake creatives make, is when they believe that talent alone can drive them to the peak. If you have things like, I am creative, I'm talented, I'm a born artist, and they just believe that with that enough, they can launch into limelight. But the truth is that it is not. You must consciously engage in self-development, because the same way you talk, there are more than 1,000 others who talk that same way. The same way you act, there are more than 1,000 persons who act that same way, or even more than that. So you need to do something extra. Okay, And that is the essence of training. That's the essence of consciously developing yourself. And that is what I said I will be talking to our people about. Because, like you rightly said, they are there, but where are they in the limelight? We can't see. So we need to let them know how to consciously develop themselves, how to do something extra, so that when you find yourself in an audition, that role that is supposed to be the major role or sub lead can be given to you because you understand what the other man doesn't know. You understand? So that's the essence of self-development that I talked about, capacity building, mentorship. That is one thing that I feel they are lacking, or I believe that they are lacking. Once they are able to understand see, if you know your trade, there is hardly anybody who can beat you on that trade except somebody who understands it more than you. You understand? Even at that, there will still be room for you to do something because this man knows it and this man knows it, but this one knows it better. You know, different from this man knows it, this man doesn't know it. He's only managing to do it. I don't know if you're getting me. So that is the major challenge. We must let them know that they have to humble themselves enough to tell themselves the truth that majority of them are not trained. They are doing it by trial
All
and
right,
error.
thank you. All
And
right,
you know,
thank you.
Nollywood
Because
started by trial
of
and
our
error.
time, Doctor.
That's a history for another day. But as I speak today, it has gone global. And it went global the moment a few persons left the shores of their locality and went to acquire knowledge, came back and started doing it. There's a convention in every industry. You must work within the rules. You must work within that convention. And if you must break the rules, which is allowed in Nollywood also, you must first of all know the rules to break them. You know, a lot of them do not understand these things, and that is the challenge. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Doctor, for that response. Before we wrap up the program, I would like to also ask Comrade Uchenwoke John, who is also a co-anchor in this program, to address to ask his own question, and then we'll wrap up from there. Thank you for your time. Comrade
Yeah.
Uchenwoke John, are you there? Over to you.
Okay. Okay. Viewers, it's a wonderful one and one time here, um, Dr. Gerald, a movie director and academia. Thank you for your right. I to repeating what Sean my colleague asks you. I want to say that you, as you rightly acknowledged, Agua has a pool of amateur dramatists, and it is good we acknowledge this and look for a way to harness them, making them to be a bit of professional. Another thing you say that I love so much is that you will be stronger in your house. You will be stronger. Every man or every person is very strong in his or her house. What I mean is that you don't catapult yourself being artificial. You catapult being original. You become original by telling your story. These are in-depth. These are your natural strengths. You tell your story to the world. I come a bit, I have a bit background in what you are saying. During my secondary school days, I won some award in acting and others. In fact, I still have a story, even if you want it tomorrow, that I wrote it because during those periods, I do script for to churches, maybe in the occasions, so church rituals. They do ask me, "What any script?" Say is that Agua grows in leaves and bounds of amateur dramatists. But we thank God that some of us also are professionals
in it. People like you. As I also know of Mr. Paul Igwe from Arrow. He's also a director, but it is a high time we close rank and look for a way to develop others who wants to earn from such industry. Because like you rightly said, the movie industry is one of the biggest industry in the whole world and is capable of engaging people right from their original background. You look at what the Yorubas are doing up today, they are telling their way, they are telling their stories in their local tongues, and you see them, they are earning from it as well. So I want us to have a partnership. We can have something like inside our is 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 something that can sell because we have the resources. What I mean by the resources, let me say the primary resource, that's the human resources. We'll have them there. It's just to bring them and tell them what they needed to do, the types of things they should put themselves into, and from there they move forward or we move forward. I want to thank you for accepting our invitation, and I also want to thank you for accepting to work with us in this regard. Thank you, Mr. Gerald.
Okay, Dr. Gerald, we would like to thank you so much for joining us today in this program. We've taken you beyond the time as stipulated, but we want to thank you for the energy you have put in talking about the creative talent of Agwa. I do hope that people watching us all over the world, particularly Agrarians, we make use of this information, and that we too, we are going to work with all that you have said and see how we can make Agwa a better place. So before I let you go, Doctor, I'd like you to give us your parting words and your words of advice to your people, and then we'll wrap it up from there.
Okay, once more, Umunnim, this one I'm talking particularly to agrarians who are listening, who are creatives. I want you to, right from this moment, accept the truth. You see, in the book of wisdom, truth to yourself is the first chapter. And so, if you don't tell yourself the truth, then you're not willing to grow. The truth is that we need to consciously learn this trade. Learn it very well. Ask those who are already practicing successfully. And once we do that, I bet you the sky is your starting point. But so long as we continue to do it in mediocrity, so long as we continue to do it as on trial and error basis, there's nothing we can do about that. I must tell you this. That's the true test of the truth. If you allow me to use that joke. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. And to all our viewers, we appreciate you for joining us today. Keep a date with us next week, Saturday, as we shall bring you another edition of the program. I'd like to thank my co-anchors, Comrade Uchenwoke Eperechi John Mbono, as well as Comrade Aguugo Wisdom, who joined us today in this program and also made valuable contribution to that. On this note, we'd like to draw the curtain here and then hope to see you sometime next week. Thank you for keeping a date with us. And like I said when I started, please do well to visit our Inside Agwa page. We are there on Facebook, we are there on YouTube, and our website also, www.insideagwa.com.ng. These are platforms that you can reach us and then be part of what we are doing. And also continue to share the link, push it to as many people you can. That way we'll make Agwa better. That way we'll make our voice heard. And that way Agwa will be better in our time. See you sometime next week. Bye.